How would you like to craft your own world filled with villages and dark caverns to guide people through an interactive story that lets them choose their own ending? Today's guest is creating an adventure map in a game called Minecraft so that players can experience his narrative while he practices for his future career in game design. Today, he will share with us some of the creations he has built and talk about the story he is creating before the release to the community of over 4 million players. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our guest, Ruben Aguilera, to meet the new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's editions of The New Directors. All the people involved in this program are students in the television production course that are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write, direct 3 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they are planning, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is an NCC student in the film and TV production course and an amateur video game level designer. He is also interested in interactive storytelling. We would like you to meet today's guest, Matt French.
Hi.
So you're creating an adventure map in Minecraft. Can you tell us what that means?
Well, basically what I'm doing is I'm constructing an environment and a narrative for players to go throughout the world. Because the game is open-ended, I'm actually going to be giving them something to do and a goal at the end. And what the game does is it gives you different kind of blocks, and you can create anything that you want. So I use that to make my levels. I construct towns, underground cities, and buildings, and I create a story to go with them so that the players can experience a fully developed story from a first-person perspective. Right now, the story that I'm working on is it's an attempt to give background stories to all of the creatures that inhabit the world. So an important part of that is having a lot of abandoned towns since you're the only human around. So these are just some images of a ocean-top town that I made, just a boardwalk with some lighting on it. And then I designed each house with kind of a cabana feel with thatched roofs and plenty of windows to let a lot of natural light in. Just a little sign that says "Bless this mess" on the wall there.
That took you a long time to make.
Yeah.
Looks very pretty, I must say.
Yeah, and one of the hard things to do is to repurpose the blocks. So as you saw right there, I used stairs to resemble chairs and sofas and things like that. Then this right here is a submerged town hall that I made. And I really made this so that I can show the player that what's below the water in the town is really what's important to the community. So I made a big glass wall on the side, and you can see all kinds of wildlife in there. And then this is Salty Pete's Fishing Rentals. This is just another little touch to make the town a little bit more realistic, a little bit more believable. I cannot pass up the opportunity to include a little cabana bar in there.
Wow.
And this is just another interior of one of the houses I have there. And then that's just the town lit up at night. Okay, and then this is an inn that I designed to be a way station for players just to stop into for safety and to basically just tear the place apart, loot it for everything that's in it, really, because they're going to need those items down the line. First floor has tables and chairs and a bar. And then the second floor, I designed each room a little bit differently, so I could accommodate different guests' needs, theoretically. I made sure to include the economy suite with as many beds crammed in as possible. It's the little, the gladiator suite, as I call it. And then this is just a rooftop garden I made on top of that, with a little Zen garden in the corner. And then that's just another view of that.
Okay. Could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production courses?
Well, I watched a lot of TV at home, so I thought it'd be really interesting to learn about the process that every show goes through before it actually makes it to air. And I really wanted to learn how to edit using Avid so that I could use it for any projects that I might do at home. And I also wanted to learn how to use video cameras to their fullest potential.
Oh. What are some of the most useful things that you learned in this course?
Well, really, just learning how to properly operate a camera is extremely useful. I mean, at the beginning of the course, I had no idea how to adjust focus or the aperture, and now I know it like the back of my hand. Editing in Avid is extremely useful. I've already used it in another one of my classes to edit footage. And all of our experience operating equipment in the studio here has been extremely valuable because we really learned how to pull together and work as a team.
Wow, that sounds very good. But could you please tell us about your orange sequence, your fall foliage, and orange projects you did?
Yeah, sure. I would love to. So first, we have my fall foliage project. And so for that, we used different techniques like the poor man's dissolve to transition from one scene to the next. We used consecutive zoom ins and zoom outs to show the viewer an entire scene and one particular point of interest within that scene. The whole point of the project was to identify certain lines that can convey subtle emotion, like lines of grace that are C and S shapes, and lines with energy in them that are like horizontal and vertical lines. And next up is my practice orange sequence. For this, we were given a storyboard with the actions written in, and we had to draw out and then film everything for ourselves. During this project, I learned the importance of spotting continuity problems on your first try, because I had to film this across 2 days, and on the second day, my actor showed up with a different shirt on, so I had to reshoot probably 30% of all the footage that I got. And then this is my actual orange sequence. I was really lucky to have my sister in town to help me out with this because she really enjoys acting. But it also meant that I had to make sure that I had every single shot that I needed by the end of the weekend, since she'd be going back to Virginia and I wouldn't be able to get any more. So I had to make sure I had a lot of paperwork to make sure that I really had every single thing that I needed.
Could you tell us about your best project?
Well, I would have to say that my best project would be my fall foliage project. I spent a lot of time on that, and I had a lot of fun with it, too. So I filmed it in a few different locations. I filmed it a little bit in Woodland Park in Stamford, Waveney Park, which is in New Canaan, and Tilly Pond Park, which is actually right down the road here in Norwalk and on the Darien border. I really had a lot of fun trying to find the right music for this project to set the right mood. And I ended up actually using 2 different songs to really keep the pacing just right throughout the entire film. It felt really great to get outside and try to find as many beautiful things as possible, and then apply the techniques that we learned during class to capture them. See there, we just have another example of using consecutive zoom-ins and zoom-outs to really show you what's important in the scene. And this was at Waveney Park. I was really lucky to find this. It's really just a beautiful little pond tucked away in the corner. And this shot right here, it just kind of fell into my lap. I was on my way back from filming, and I saw the sunset and that cool looking tree, and I just popped down my tripod and I started filming.
Wow, it sounds like you've done quite the work there. But you mentioned a variety of things that you've learned throughout this course. What are the most interesting and the most important skills that you learn, and how would you put them to use?
Well, I have to say that really properly operating a camera is indispensable, because just being able to do that, it opens up a huge number of techniques that you can use, like the poor man's dissolve. You can change the aperture to adjust the depth of field, things like that. And I can use these skills later in life if I ever want to film anything again, and I can have a professional looking product at the end.
Today we get to meet someone who shared with us his own fantasy world. As a new TV director, he hopes to apply what he has learned at NCC to create well-constructed storylines in his future projects. He also plans to use the new knowledge from Television One to create cinematic experiences for people to play through. We would like to thank today's guest for joining us.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed meeting one of the television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and good day.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Ruben Aguilera, directed by Chris Casagrande. I'm your announcer, Paulo Arujo. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production. Thank you and good night.